No guest requests yet. I guess it'll.
Let me tap. I'll do co-host. Then.
Okay, like this. I think they're still too close. Move to this side over here. We're still too close.
I'm gonna do like opposite ends of the table.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. All right. Maybe I should my desk.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Hi to everybody who's on here.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, I'll just be right here at my desk. So we're on here today because there is a lot of people that have questions and misconceptions about manufactured housing. So what we want to do is we want to answer any of those questions if we can. I will write down stuff. We both will. This is me and Zach, and we're both here at Clayton Homes Bernalillo. So whatever questions that you have, just go ahead and ask us. We'll be on here for a little while. Things like people want to know the difference between site built and manufactured and what the benefits are of manufactured houses. People may want to know what manufactured versus modular is. So anything, so whatever you want to know, ask us, and we're here to try and help with what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. We just want to really clear up any misconceptions people have about manufactured housing. Anything that you have about financing, any questions about how we make the homes, how the process works, just go ahead and let us know, and we'll try to answer your questions the best we can. Go here live.
I think we still have, let me turn my volume down because all I hear is that squeaking. Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's better now.
Okay. So does anybody have anything that they want to ask? Because I know like people will say when we do videos of the houses, they have questions of land home packages. If you have any questions about what a land home package is and what we have as far as land home packages or what we could put together as a land home package. People also, I've had a lot of people asking questions or they'll call and they'll say, what's your basic house? Well, it depends on what meets your needs. There isn't really a basic house. There's single wide, there's double wide, there's triple wide, which you don't really see that much, but there are some. And basically, you have houses that are more affordable houses, and then you have manufactured houses that are fully tape and textured. So if you could see kind of behind me, this house here is fully tape and textured, and this house has what, Zach, 10-foot ceilings?
Yeah, 9-foot ceilings. It's got like crown molding and cornice boxes on the windows. It's gonna look almost exactly how a site built home would look. You wouldn't be able to tell from the inside of this home that you were in a manufactured home. And this is going to be on what's considered the higher end of the make of our manufactured homes. There are different types of manufactured homes. One of the questions we get is if modular homes are considered to be manufactured homes, and they are. Kind of like a classification where you have the umbrella of manufactured homes, and then underneath that we have like normal manufactured homes and what people kind of conceive to be trailers, and then there's cross modulars, and then there's also modulars. They're all made in a factory. They're all made in Clayton run facilities. The difference is going to come down to some things that have to do loans and what the codes are around manufactured housing. So manufactured in general are going to be built to HUD federal code, whereas modular homes are going to adhere more to your local IRC codes and what the state and local and county codes are.
And on a modular home, your price is going to be significantly higher because of certain criteria that has to be met when you actually build a modular home. It's the same exact home as a manufactured home. It's just the building code that's different. But the building code making it different does require the price to go up because of what we have to pay for to make it a modular home.
And then I know some people want to know, like, what a cross mod is. And, again, that's going to have to do, like, a little bit with your code. It's also something where you're going to need either an MH Advantage or a home loan or financing for the home for it to technically be considered cross mod. And so only certain homes are going to qualify for those like parameters. You can't just stick like any manufactured house on a permanent foundation on land and just call it cross modular. It's going to have to do not it being built to HUD federal code, but then you also need the MH Advantage or the choice home financing for it to count as a cross modular.
Does anybody have any questions at all that have to do with, well, people, okay, so another thing that people ask a lot is when we do land home packages. So land home packages, we actually have some already that are put together. We have a lot of property out in the East Mountains of Albuquerque, and we have homes that are already on permanent foundations on those properties. They're anywhere from 2 to 3 acres, just depending on the piece of property. I'm just reading. Sorry, Northern New Mexico. Do you have a question as far as the foundation process? What's your question about the foundation process? And we can try and answer that. But let me just finish real quick with we have land home packages. If there is a piece of property that you know of and you would like to build a land home package around that, then we would have to work with the numbers. What are you qualified for? How much is the property? How much is the house that you want? Does that fall into the criteria, the amount that you are qualified for? So you do have to qualify for a certain amount, and then we can work with property and house to build something into that number. So as far as the foundation process, we have a contractor that we work with, and this is all he does is foundations for manufactured houses. When we do a house on a permanent foundation, what we do is we dig down in the foundation. And so instead of the house, a manufactured house like you would originally see back in like the 70s, 80s, whatever, lifted up on blocks with a skirting around it, that's not what it's going to look like. The house is actually going to be sitting level with the ground because the foundation, we're going to dig down. And so you're going to have a crawl space underneath the house. I don't know if that makes, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and with the permanent foundations, like the way they set them up, the house is sitting pretty close to ground level, like how you would envision a site home being on the property. And like Pam said, there's enough room for a crawl space, but it's not going to look like it's sitting up, 4 or 5 feet on blocks like a normal like manufactured home would sit.
So they do, foundation does require a licensed contractor. We have a licensed contractor that we use, and that whenever we have a house, we put that price into the house. We have a set price with him that he charges, and so we actually just put that in there. So we don't actually, we use the same guy every time, and it's a contract that we have with him. We don't in our store. We have had in the past where the homeowners will do their own inspection or do their own foundation. We actually steer very far away from that because we've had a lot of issues with that. The person that we do use, like I said, he does this all the time. This is all he does is foundations for manufactured housing. So he knows the process, he knows the permits, he does everything, and he knows how to get them to fit the house. We've had where somebody's tried to do their own and the foundation doesn't measure what the house needs, and it's never going to pass inspection like that.
Yeah, and we've also had issues in the past too. People that had done their own foundation didn't have elements that were up to code, and then the amount of money that it costs to have the contractor go back and rework the foundation in order to bring it up to code was just astronomical compared to what it would have been if we had just used our own contractor from the start. Um, People often, where they get started when they want to purchase a manufactured home. One of the things that you can do is try to get a pre-approval right away. As soon as you are approved for a amount from either an outside lender, a bank, or a federal credit union, we can automatically know what you're going to be working with, and then be able to recommend like the best home for your budget. So, if you want to start looking as soon as you can get an approval, then it's going to be much easier to know what homes are going to be in your approval range and kind of get you the best bang for your buck.
We have our website also. It's Clayton Homes of Bernalillo. That if anybody wants to go on there and look at the houses that we do have to offer, they're listed on there. And there's houses that are, like I said, from a level of your original manufactured houses that have paneled walls with batten strips. And then, of course, we have houses that are higher end, like this one, and they are fully tape and textured. It depends on your, I guess, what your approval level is and what are your needs.
Um, Another question I hear a lot is about if you can go and find land on your own and still get that bundle to a land home package, and that's definitely something we can do. If you're able to find a piece of property somewhere that you want to place your home on, then as soon as you find that property, and you can find a home on our website, or you come into our home center and pick out a home that you want, we can definitely bundle those together for a land home package for you, and that way you can finance and the land together, and you'll get a much better interest rate that way than if you are just financing a home.
I don't know what other questions have people asked, Doug. They ask about land home. They ask about
Um,
like
one of
the build, like the bones of the house. The 2x6 construction gets asked a lot, and a manufactured house is made with 2x6 construction.
Yes, and the homes that we sell here in New Mexico are rated for Thermozone 3, which is considered to be like the same thermozone as Colorado. So the homes that we have here are going to be just as warm in the winter as Colorado homes, and you're going to be cool in the summer with the level of insulation they're putting in. The ceilings are R33, the walls are R19, and the floors are R22. So they're very well insulated. It's going to be, like I said, comparable to anything that they're putting in Colorado right now.
Juliana, you're asking about if you have land and if it needs a well and a septic. Yes, we can do that. We have a lot of people that have their own land, but it's clean land. There's not anything on it. There's no well. There's no septic. There's no utilities. We can work with that. That's fine still. Really, Bob? Come on. um, no, I guess you're asking it legitimately. You do know. Right now, what is it taking, Zach? 3 months for a true house and
Yeah, it's true houses are 3 months out. Carson Spring out about 3 months. Belton, Sulphur Springs, and Athens are all between like 6 to 8 months, depending on the home that you're ordering. So I mean, really like 8 months at the longest, just depending on what home and what factory it's coming from.
and the factories that we get our houses from are all Clayton owned. One of them, Karsten factory, is here in Albuquerque, and then the other factories that he was talking about are all from Texas.
I know we get a lot of questions too about, when you're looking for land, what's what's the best piece of land to get, and if you have the time and are able to find a piece of land that's already got some sort of water access, either a well or community water, that's definitely going to help out on the cost. Having to do is normally one of the most expensive pieces of getting a land ready for a home. Um, it's also going to be important to make sure that the property is coded for manufactured housing. Depending on where you're looking in New Mexico, some communities will have stipulations about whether or not there can be manufactured housing there to begin with, and what type of manufactured housing can be like on the property. So sometimes that's where like cross mods and modulars come into play.
Oh, he's doing his TikTok live.
Both of us were both on.
Oh, well, I'm getting out of the way.
You don't want to be part of it? We might need some help.
One of the other questions we asked a lot is people that are looking to put manufactured housing in the Rio Rancho or Sandoval County areas. Depending on where you're at in Sandoval County, it's going to be an area where you're going to really need to find out about if you can have a manufactured home and what type of manufactured housing they allow in the area. And then depending on where you're at in Sandoval County, there is going to be what they call impact fees, especially if you're in the Rio Rancho city limits. Those impact fees are essentially extra costs that the city of Rio Rancho puts on new home builders, and those can sometimes be as high as $16,000 per house that you're building. So that's something you're going to be aware of if you're looking in the Sandoval County area. Also, going back to like putting in wells too, that depending on the area you're in, they're gonna have to drill down a lot farther to get to drinkable water, and that's something that they're facing in Sandoval County right now. So your costs of putting in a well in that area are going to be much higher than in other parts of the state.
And there's a lot of people that have asked, can you put houses, like we're located in Bernalillo, that's just where our home center is located. But there are people that have asked us from Silver City and from like Santa Rosa or as far as Tucumcari, we can put houses anywhere in the state of New Mexico. We take care of getting the permits. We take care of all of the necessary construction that needs to be done. If we need to clear the land, you say you have a piece of land but it's full of trees, but you want to know if you can do that. We will actually send a contractor out there, and we'll go ahead and he'll survey the land, look at it, and he'll let us know, okay, yeah, I can go ahead and take a bulldozer out there, clear this land out, and we can have it. And then he'll tell us what his charge is going to be. And that's just something that we add into the loan of the house. We work with whatever banks. We have a lender board here in our home center. You can come in, you can apply here with us. It's not in-house financing, but there are banks that we work with, or if you have an outside lender, your own bank, it doesn't matter.
Something people ask us a lot too is if they need to actually come into the home center to fill out an application. That's not necessary. If you would like an application, we are on pretty much every social media channel: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you send us a direct message, we can send you an application or a link to the application, and it only takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. And once you complete the application, it can be around 4 to 5 business days for one of the lenders to process the application and decision it. So if you are ever wanting to get started right away, just go ahead and DM us, or shoot us an email, or hit us up on YouTube. We can message you an application or a link to the application, and you can get started as soon as you'd like.
Hi. One of the things that I want to talk about a little bit, and this is for anybody who is actually interested in purchasing a home from us, is that one thing that Clayton does is once you purchase your house and we turn over the keys, it's yours, you're moving in. Clayton offers from that time, a 1-year structural warranty. There is a huge misconception of structural warranty and what is covered under that. Anything that compromises the structure of the house is covered under the 1-year structural warranty. Cosmetic issues are not covered. So what we do is whenever we close on a house, we come out to the house and we do a walkthrough. On that day, the day that I turn over your keys to you, on that day, if you see something that needs to be fixed, we're going to note it. You have up to 90 days to call me and say, hey, you know what, I noticed after moving in, there's a lot of air coming in through the window or whatever. We're going to come. Well, okay, the air coming through the window is structural. That's going to be a 1-year warranty. So, how am I trying to say this? If it's compromising the structure of the house, it's covered under the 1-year warranty. If it is not compromising the structure of the house and it was not noted on the day of the walkthrough, we can't cover it. It's not because we don't want to. It's not because we're picking and choosing. It's because we're owned by a large corporation. Once that house closes, the money that we would use to send a contractor out to fix these things on the house, we only have a certain amount of time. And if you call me 6 months after living in the house and saying, hey, such and such is wrong, I can't do anything about it. I can't fix it. There's not money that comes from that house anymore. And I can't send a contractor out to a house and not pay that contractor. So, I mean, I know a lot of people get upset and they're like, well, why can't you come out and fix this? Because we don't have the money to. We don't hold money on the houses. When the house closes, it closes. And the money gets paid to contractors. The money gets paid for us, you're paying for the house. So the money goes to where it needs to go to. And there's not just money sitting there to pay for contractors to go fix things. And I have a lot of people that will call us and ask us to come and fix stuff. I specifically, when I go out there and we do the closing on the house, I specifically do a walkthrough, write down, note anything. I will send somebody out one time to fix things because it's something that we've noted on that. If there's things that need to be fixed, if there is not things that need to be fixed, I cannot send somebody back out later on to fix those things, because whether they're cosmetic, whether they're not cosmetic, if they are not a something that is compromising the structure of the home, I cannot do it. And so these are things that I just have to say. And I feel really bad telling people this, but at the same time, a purchase of a home, there are specific homeowner responsibilities that we cannot take care of for you, but we do try and accommodate the best that we can. Do we offer properties to purchase along with the homes? We could do land home packages. If you know of property, we can put the land home package together for you. We have spec properties. We have quite a few acres in the Edgewood area that we order houses for. We put the houses on there and then we list them on the MLS. We have houses anywhere from our true houses, which are if you need a very large house, but your income level is at this level, and some people's income level is at this level, but you need a really big house. We have houses that fit in everybody's needs. So if you have land that you know of, we can work on putting together a land home package, or we have land home packages that are already put together for you, and we sell those as a already, and we can show those. They're out in Edgewood.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people want to know too if we are able to accommodate doing like an all-electric house, or if we can put conversion kits together so that you can run off of propane instead of natural gas. And yes, we can do all those. We just recently building a house that's going to be going out in the Edgewood area that will be all electric. We've done have conversion kits so that they are running off of propane. So, whatever your needs are, we can get the houses set up so that your utilities will be structured for whatever format is going to best suit you.
Zach, you want to answer the financing question?
Yes, I don't see it on my screen. What was the question?
It says, do you guys work based on credit or first-time home buyers?
Yes, we absolutely do. If you wanted to apply through us, we have a multitude of lenders that we work with. Some of them have specialty working with first-time home buyers or people with lower credit scores. When you apply for a home, it's going to be really individually based. So it's always in your best interest, if you are going to apply through us, to try to apply to as many lenders as you feel comfortable applying to. When you apply through us, they're going to run your credit once. Then that application is sent out with a copy of that to the of your choosing. So your best interest is send it to all of them, and you're going to have a little bit of options: what your down payment's going to look like, what your actual approval amount is, and then what your monthly payment could look like. And that will vary lender to lender. And like I said, we have lenders that work with first-time home buyers, with people with lower credit scores. So you're not going to be excluded for anything like that. Sometimes people ask what our contractors are able to do. Our contractors can pretty much do anything as far as site prep and putting on decks, porches, steps. We do, in certain cases, for additional costs, we will work with people on getting a detached garage. Most of our spec houses that Pam was talking about are going to be set up with a detached garage, especially the ones that we're putting up in the Edgewood area right now. Something else our contractors take care of that people aren't often aware of is we'll take care of everything from the well, the septic, the utilities, vapor barrier, termite treatment, foundation. We level, we grade the land. We put in stem walls in cases where people want the instead of the solid concrete foundation. When people get concrete piers, we will sometimes set up like a stem wall. We also do skirting. There's not really a to what our contractors take care of, especially for the land home packages.
As far as working with the same as Clayton here in Albuquerque, are you talking about like the Karsten factory, or are you talking about Oakwood Homes? So Clayton is like the blanket company. Oakwood Homes is a dealer that falls under Clayton. We all work under the Clayton blanket, and Karsten is a manufacturing company that manufactures houses, and they are part of Clayton. So we order houses from Karsten. But as far as the home centers, we're all our own separate entity. We all work for the same company. Yeah, Karsten. This house that we're sitting in right here is a Karsten house. Karsten houses are our high-end houses. They are tape and texture. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful houses. So we work with them. We can order houses from them. They have their own employees. We have our own employees. And they do their thing. We do ours, but we get a lot of houses from Karsten, and they make amazing, amazing, beautiful houses. So Karsten is a big seller for us here, and Karsten has a big name, and so a lot of people want a Karsten house. And I mean, I can't say that I blame them. This house that we're in right here is top of the line. And I mean, if you could look behind Zach, and you could see the ceiling, like the inset in the ceiling, they just do amazing work.
Yeah, the house you can see behind me, it looks like a site-built home living room. I mean, nothing in this house you'd be able to tell that it was a manufactured home.
Yeah, well, if your husband works for Karsten, they do beautiful homes there, and we do sell a lot of Karsten homes, and they're a big seller for us, and they're gorgeous. They're nice houses, and they are top of the line high end houses. And I mean, I absolutely fall in love with all of them. They have some houses that we are not able to get. I wish we could, but each facility is allotted a certain type of houses, and so some we're able to get, some we can't. But like this one that we're in right here is a summit, and this one is a 3-bedroom summit. Another house that we sell of theirs is in Edgewood. We also have a couple of Catalinas that they just recently came out with, but Karsten makes a really top of the line product.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some people have a misconception that we only carry like certain levels of home, but the way Clayton works is that's kind of an umbrella, and then we have different levels of home that fall under that umbrella. So like Carson is going to be like your Lexus, it's the top of the line, and then we have more middle of the road level housing, and then we also have like your lower level housing where you might just need 4 walls and a roof, where like your Carson homes are going to be like comparable to site built homes. They're pretty much like the best manufactured home you can get on the market at this point from Clayton.
A Karsten, and well, I mean, for the most part, any manufactured house is going to meet the same criteria that a site built house meets. The biggest difference is our homes are built in a factory and then taken to the site, whereas a site built home is actually built there. And that's where the cost difference is you have a house built on site, you have to have a separate blueprint for that house. You have to have everything separate for that house, and everything is done just for that house. If you have a house built in a factory, it's not that it's a cheaper house. It's the same wood, it's the same construction, it's just built in a factory and assembled on your property. and it's just as good of a house, because a lot of people will say, oh, that's just a trailer. This that I'm sitting in, to me, is not just a trailer. This is a gorgeous home.
And the thing with the manufactured houses is when they're constructed in these facilities, there are HUD inspectors at these facilities. So the house is getting checked multiple times by HUD housing inspectors before it's even left the facility. And then they're checked again whenever they arrive to the site by whatever inspector is needed from the county, state, municipality, wherever the home is going. So they're on or the strictest level of scrutiny. Especially compared to site-built homes like Pam was mentioning, where they aren't going to go through as many inspections as something that's built in one of the Clayton facilities. Something else that comes up about site-built homes that people don't really realize either is that because they're constructed in a climate-controlled environment, they are incredibly less wasteful than site-built homes. Each Clayton home produces about 2 oil drums worth of waste material, whereas a site-built home, if they happen to be hit with inclement weather while they're constructing the home, they're ripping out lumber and drywall and a lot of other materials and having to redo that work. And that's when you can see the big giant roll-off dumpsters next to the site where they're just throwing stuff away, and that's being paid for. That's coming in out of the cost of the home.
Any more questions, anybody? If we don't have any more questions, we're good. If you think of any more questions, feel free to, send us there. You can always send anything to my page. You can always send anything to our store page, which is on the bottom of Zach's screen. It's Bernalillo Prefabulous. So please go follow that also, because he does a lot of videos on the houses. You can follow us on our Facebook page, which is Clayton Homes of Bernalillo. Do we have properties? We don't currently have any properties in Albuquerque, but if you know of a property, we can always put a land home package together with that property. But like we said, if that property is bare property and we need to do utilities on it, we can do that. We could also, say, okay, here, let me just throw some numbers, and these are just fake numbers. Say you qualify for 200,000. The land is 30,000 and the house is 50,000. That's never going to happen. But I mean, just in a dream world, $30,000 house, $50,000 house. And so here's your $80,000, but then we're going to add utilities in there, contracting in there. So that's going to be, say, another $30,000 right there on top of that. So now my math is not good. What, 6? That's 8. What is that? Zach, do my math.
So say that you had 30,000 and 50,000, and what else?
What did I say? 30,000 for land, 50,000 for the house, 30,000 for land improvements.
So it's going to be 80,000.
Okay. So say you qualify for 100,000. You have that 80,000 right there. 110,000. Okay, 110,000. Yeah, see, I suck at math. I can't do it in my head. But so you put that together, you're going to fall within those guidelines. But say you only qualify for $60,000. Now you're $20,000 over. We can't do it. So we're going to have to find something that meets within that criteria. But if you know of a piece of property in Albuquerque and you know how much it is, you know it needs land improvements, and you know what, and that's what we always tell everybody: do the application, qualify. What do you qualify for? Okay, you qualify for this amount. Let's find a land home package that fits that criteria, fits within that number. So we'll find what house fits, what, the land. We kind of can put something together, and we'll work with you. We'll do whatever we can to get you into a home. It's like we're in a scary movie hearing that. It sounds funny. So anybody follow our Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel. We have an Instagram page. Message us, call the store. If you have any questions, anybody interested, come and see what we have on the lot. We don't have a lot on the lot, but we do have a few on the lot. We have land home packages out in Edgewood. We do have an iPad here that we could always have you apply on, or we have the little, what are they called? CAPTCHAs?
Yeah, the QR codes.
The QR codes all over the houses. You could scan that, do your application online. There's a lot to offer, and there's houses, like we said, from every level. From you your four walls and a roof in your basic house because that's what your need is, or you're retiring and you want to downsize, so you want to move out to the mountains and have some land, or whatever your need is, we try really, really hard to work within those means.
And we take feedback and input too. If there's a particular house that you'd really want to see us do a walkthrough of, or if you can't really see very well from the pictures on our website what the features of this home are, you can always reach out to us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Let us know. We'd be more than happy to do a video. We're starting to put a little more videos on YouTube as well. So if you want to see us do a short or an extended walkthrough of a home, just feel free to message us and let us know. We would be more than happy to.
And so that's it. Everybody have a good day. Give us a call if you have anything, need any questions, anything. We appreciate you jumping on. Bye.
Bye.